All right, everyone, it's a snowy day in Colorado. So you know what that means? That means we're gonna be telling a story. All right, if you saw the thumbnail, we gotta talk about that. All right, that was so long ago, but it was one of my favorite days, and I have to tell you the story because it's kind of funny. Well, first off, this isn't my first R33 Skyline. I actually had one before. I had it when I was in the Army, and it was a lot of fun. But I was young, I was wild, and I was kind of a class clown, which, I mean, I still kind of am, except I don't have a class, right? Except my courses on my website. But anyways, so I had this car, right? And I don't know how I ended up with a Barbie, right? But I had a Barbie. And where I was living at in Tennessee, a right-hand drive car, especially a Skyline at that time, was really unique. Either the young people knew what it was, or people driving were always confused because I always drove my windows down, and that was my daily driver, and I just drove everywhere. And so what I decided to do is I decided to place that naked Barbie like right outside my window on the car, on the right-hand side, because people were always staring at me because I was in the right-hand drive side. So I thought it'd be funny. So I put the naked Barbie right there, and she fit perfectly. Like her body and everything was just kind of hanging out, and her hair was all frizzy. And I would just drive around like that. I know, it's kind of crazy. But one of the funniest things one day is that I was at a light, and there was this minivan, and I'm not lying, this is real. And there was this young kid who was like looking, and they had their windows down, and she was like, "Mommy, mommy, a Barbie." And the mom looked over, and she's like, "Don't look that way, honey." And I was like laughing so hard, but of course she still looked at it, and I waved, and then they drove off. And I just remember that was like the funniest thing ever with the Barbie. But of course many people saw it. I'm pretty sure they said something in their car, but that was that one time that whole situation went down right there. All right, we're not stopping with one story. I got two more stories. All right, so I got invited to do a road rally, and in Florida, they do a lot of them. I mean, it's just flat, and you know, you just kind of, there's a lot of cool cars there, so people like to do a lot of driving in the flat roads, which is okay and can be fun. So I lived in Orlando or Daytona at the time, one of them, and the event was by Miami, so we showed up at this Lamborghini dealership. It was really fancy. You know, they had croissants and coffee and everything, but everybody showed up and it started raining, and we were like, well, that kind of sucks. So we just kind of hung out at the dealership for a while until it stopped raining. And then when it finally stopped raining, we got in our cars and we drove. And the thing about Florida is that there's certain highways that are just toll highways, and they're just straight shots. And if you have a supercar or any car, it doesn't matter if you have a Prius, I mean, you could literally just go full blast if you want. And here we are, a huge group of nothing but really awesome cars. I would say my Skyline at the time was the least coolest car there, but it was pretty cool because I got to be there. And the crazy part is that you've always seen those signs that say these roads are monitored by aircraft, and none of us, including me, have never been like, whatever, like, I don't believe it, yeah, whatever. Like, who has ever seen an aircraft enforce speed limits? Well, that day it happened. We were driving, and a buttload of state troopers just came out of nowhere and started pulling all of us over, like literally all of us. I got lucky probably because all these cars were way faster than me, and they were probably like catching the people who were doing super speeds, but they were getting pulled over, and they literally told them that their speed was caught by a little Cessna up in the air. So of course we pulled over at this truck stop. Everybody was talking about it. It was pretty crazy. Of course, I kind of felt excited that I didn't get a ticket, but at the same time I kind of felt left out because everybody was like banded together by these tickets, expensive tickets. But at the time I was a college student, so luckily I didn't get one. So the crazy part is that we were halfway from Miami to Orlando, and I'm coming up to a toll road, and I'm downshifting, and nothing at all. I'm literally putting the clutch in, right? And this is at the same event after everybody got pulled over by the flying highway patrol people. And I'm putting the clutch in, nothing at all. Like, I can't shift gears, and I'm like 2.5 hours away from home. And I'm just like, man, what's going on? And I had this guy in my car. He was kind of a photographer. And I told him, I was like, I don't know what's going on. Like, I think my clutch just blew or whatever. And he was like, all right, that's cool. I'm going to jump in another car. Good luck. So he literally got out of my car, jumped in another car and left me there. And I was just like, what am I going to do? And I don't know. I've always been like a kind of like a go-go gadget guy, like one of those MacGyver dudes. I always figure out a way. And I'm just thinking, literally, Florida is just nothing but straight highways. And I literally live off of the highway pretty much, or close to it, right? So I was like, if I could get in one gear, I could go. So I told myself, what gear should I go? So I was like, well, let's do third gear. So I know this is bad. I know that everybody's gonna be like, no, but I literally kind of forced it into gear. It wasn't like horrible, but there was some crunches. Like, and then I literally started going. I rolled from 0 miles per hour into third gear, and I drove for about 2 hours in one gear, and then got off the highway, rolled into where I lived, and then had someone pick up my car, to send it off to get fixed because the clutch actually it died. It just completely, exploded. I don't know. Maybe I was trying to keep up with those cool cars. But my last story is going to be really hard to tell you guys because it's hard to kind of communicate. So let's see if I do a good job. So I was a college student. I had my Skyline. I didn't have a lot of money. And I remember that two out of my 4 coilovers were having issues. I think they were blown. But I think while I was taking my friend home, I think it either blew or the night before it blew. But I'm not even joking, guys. If you've never ridden in a car with blown suspension, we're talking about completely blown shocks. We're talking about you're just riding on springs, right? It's just literally a spring isn't designed to carry the weight of the car. It's like a compensator. And I remember that I was taking my friend home, and he lived kind of outside of Daytona, and the roads were kind of wavy. I don't know why Florida can be weird like that. And I remember that we were just doing this, and then they got real wavy. And my friend Kyle, he's kind of a skinny guy. He's like literally one of my best friends. And I'm always been a little heavy setter, and I'm driving, so I got something to hold on. But I look over, and he's just literally like trying to hold on, and he is dying. I've never seen him laugh. I've known him for over a decade now, and I never see him laugh that hard. He's literally laughing as hard as he can. Until this day, he talks about that because he thought he was in a lowrider, because he was just like, he was flying and he's skinny. He just tried to hold on to stuff, and it was so ghetto, but it was so funny. But I remember that story with the Skyline. It was one of the funniest things we did. Until this day, he talks about it all the time. But that is my snow time story for you guys. I hope you guys could see our new little sign back there. It's called Driver's Therapy. I'm just excited to share these car stories because they're a lot of fun. They're a lot of memories. And the real cool thing is it ties back into what we're doing. As you could tell, I loved my Skyline, and I always wanted a GTR. And now we have a GTR, and it's like a dream come true. I just love it. All right, guys, thank you for watching. You take care, stay safe, and we'll talk to you soon.